Hello, my name is Christian and I am a movement, nourishment, and mindfulness coach. Today I'm going to be taking you through one of my mobility flows called Mobility Flow number 2. Now with this one, we're going to focus more so on the lower body. We're going to get a little shoulders integrated in there. But again, with mobility, we are focusing in on the joints. So we're going to be taking a look at the ankles, the knees, the hips, and again, a little bit of shoulders. Majority of this is going to be on the ground, so we'll be in either kneeling or sitting positions on the ground, so make sure you got a nice comfortable space for you. Now, just like always, we want to focus in on our breath. We want to sync the breath up to the movements that we're going to be working through, because that's what's going to really bring in the most, not only creating space within our joints, but also getting that energy really flowing through the body. So we're going to bring it down to the knees. And you can either stay seated or we can come up like so. Just make sure that the glutes are slightly engaged and we're feeling good in whichever position you choose. We're going to start off with 5 4-second inhales, hold, and 4-second exhales just to get that breath under control and get a good rhythm for that breath. So here we go. 5 nice, deep, diaphragmic breaths, focusing in on breathing in through the diaphragm. Here we go. Breathing in through the nose. Pausing, breathing out through the mouth, nice and steady. Now, take your time with this. If you want to do more than just 5, go for it. At any point in time, you can pause this video and do more reps if your body feels like it needs to. And if you just need to take some time, again, you can pause this video at any point in time. Again, do what feels best, and if more feels best, then do more. Now, after these 5 breaths or more, we're going to transition into a cat-to-cow. All right, we want to focus in on breathing in as we start off and going into this cat, arching the back, tucking the tailbone. Here we go. Here we go. To pull the chin in and exhale as we go into the cow. Again, we're going to do a total of 10 of these cat-to-cows. Take your time. If you need to move a little bit slower than I'm moving here, totally fine. Again, pause at any time. But again, take your time. Let's get 10 reps in here. Now we're going to get ready to go into the next movement, which is a forward step with a reach. So from this kneeling position, we're just going to bring one leg up into that kneeling position, push the hips forward as we reach up. We want to breathe in as we reach up, bringing it back down. Other side, reaching up. Again, breathing in with that same breath that we started off with, that diaphragm breathing. And we just want to breathe with the movement. Excellent. We're going to do a total of 10. You're doing a great job. And again, pause at any time. Take your time with this movement. We're focusing in on the ankles, the knees, the hips, engaging that breath into the core, through the back, into the shoulders. You can even look up and get a little neck, but do whatever feels best here for you. Great job. Now, take note of how these movements are feeling and where you're feeling it most. We're now going to go into some fire hydrants. We're going to go ahead and get 5 on each side. We're just bringing the leg out from that 90-degree position and just bringing it up as high as you can. Focus in on slow control on the way down. Again, 5 on one side, 5 on the other side. Try to keep your hands directly underneath your shoulders, and we want to exhale as we bring the leg up and breathe in as we bring the leg down. Next, we're going to go into some hip rotations. From here, we're going to bring it up into that fire hydrant, and then we're going to rotate the foot, pushing those toes downward, and then bringing the knee back forward into that tabletop position. And we're going to go ahead and get 5 on each side once again. Now, as we finish these up, we're going to go into what we call a thread the needle. Staying in this tabletop position, we're going to bring one arm, thread it underneath the body, focus in on allowing the shoulder to get to the ground or as close to it as you can. We're going to rotate and reach up towards the sky. Allow your eyes to follow as you reach, and as we reach, we want to breathe in and exhale as we thread that needle. We're going to go ahead and do 5 on each side. Again, if this feels good and you want to continue to do it, pause it, get some more reps in, and take note of how this movement feels and where you're feeling it. Now next we're going to go into a kneeling bridge. So from this tabletop position, we're just going to go ahead and bring our arms back behind us. Push the chest forward so fingers are pointing away from the body, and we're just going to lift the hips up. Focus in on feeling everything from the shoulders and upper back into the hamstrings and knees. Take your time with this one. Find your range of motion, but really focus in on driving through the hips as you push the hips up. We're just going to get 5 here. Again, if you feel you want to get more, go for it. From here, we're going to go into a kneeling leg extension to a fold. So from that kneeling position, sitting down on your legs, we're going to bring one leg out and fold forward. We're going to alternate sides here. This one is a little bit more challenging. So again, take your time, but what we're focusing in on is getting that full knee flexion, all right, into hip flexion, as well as being able to give a nice stretch into the hamstrings, because what happens is when we have tight muscles, all right, we start to be able to get angry joints. So we've done a lot for the joints already. The joints are now warmed and feeling good. Now we're going to start integrating some of the muscles, start stretching out some of those surrounding points, and start helping to free up some space. Now, next we're going to go into some of my personal favorite. It's the 90-90 rotation. So we want to go ahead and get in a seated position just like so. And we're going to rotate to one side, letting your knees fold over into a 90-degree position. 90 degree from the hip to the knee to the foot. Focus in on getting your posture right so we're not leaned over to one side. Try to push the hips forward and open up the chest as you get into that 90-degree position. All right, we're going to go ahead and do 10 in total, so 5 on each side. So take your time here. Again, focus in on good posture all the way from the hips, lower back, mid back, up into the upper back and into the head. Now remember to breathe as you rotate, pushing those hips forward, building up that posture, right? Now we're going to move into the next variation of 90-90s with a forward fold. So let's go ahead and reach up, breathing in, folding forward. Now try to keep that posture as best as you can. As you see, I've got my left hand placed on the ground, just reaching my right arm forward. That left hand is helping support my left side in my lower back, in the hip, to help keep the best posture I can. So just to focus in on trying to stabilize that posture through the spine as you fold forward. All right, we're gonna get 4 on this side and then 4 on the other side. Again, breathing in as you reach up and exhale as you fold forward. And again, just find your range of motion. Take note if one side feels different than the other, because something we want to be able to see improve through these movements that we work on. With consistency, we'll be able to create that space and hopefully create balance. Now, after this one, we're going to go into the extensions. All right, so we'll fold back over to the other side. We're going to extend the back legs. We want to try to bring the knee up off the ground and extend, lengthening out that leg. Breathing in as we bring it back. Good posture. Exhale as you bring the leg forward. And again, focusing on the breath, focusing on the posture. We're getting 4 on this side, and we'll get 4 on the other side. Now, as we get these rotations moving from one side to the other, we really want to try to keep this clean. Good posture, keeping the feet exactly where they were before we started moving, right? So again, getting this side, focusing in on that breath, creating that space within the hip. Now, the last 90-90 movement that we'll do is the back knee lift. So again, practice that rotation, get set up. All right, we're gonna just lift up the back knee, and we're gonna again get 4 on each side, just focusing on pulling that back knee up as much as you can without limiting the rest of the body. Try not to let the rest of the body move. Keep up that good posture. And again, just 4 simple ones. We're just trying to get some movement again within that hip and open up that external rotation. Now, we're going to move into some seated hip internal rotation. We're going to bring one leg out like you see here. I like to put my arm in the inner thigh to get it a little stretch out right there, and then bringing the knee down to the ground, focusing in on opening up the hip here. All right, breathing in as we push it out and exhale as you bring it down. We're going to get a total of 10 on each side. Take your time. Focus in on just opening up that space within the hips. Now, we're going to give a little love to the ankle. We're going to see if we can get any snap, cracks, and pops, as I like to say, out of my ankles. If you're like me, you get some. If you don't, then that's awesome. That usually means that everything is pretty good, unless we're feeling any tightness. Now, we want to go clockwise and counterclockwise, or vice versa. Doesn't really matter which way you start. We just want to get some movement of rotation within that ankle. All right, just helping getting blood flowing, as well as just, again, freeing up space within the joints. You never know, you could be holding some tension in those ankles. So just shake them around. Again, open up that space. Don't forget to breathe. Don't hold your breath. We're going to do the same thing on the other leg. Again, some circles one direction. We'll get the same amount of circles the other direction. And then again, take your time. I would say about 5 to 10 circles one way. Do the same amount the other way. And don't forget to breathe. Again, just wiggle it out, creating any space, getting any last little pops or cracks out. Next, we're going to go into a butterfly. We're going to see how those ankles are feeling now in this position, as well as the knees, the hips, by just giving a little rock back and forth. You can use the elbows pushing into the legs to get a little bit of a rock. And again, we're just focusing in on creating some space, creating a little bit of movement, some energy, and focus in on your breathing, as always. Now, next we're going to go into what I call a modified butterfly. We're going to extend one leg forward and fold. Now, we want to breathe in at the top and exhale as we fold forward. I'm going to go ahead and do a total of 5 on each side for a complete count of 10. But again, do as much as whatever feels best for you and take your time with this one. Now, as we finish this up, the next movement is going to be a little challenging. We're going to stand up and get ourselves into a low squat position. Now, if you need to use a chair or a stool or anything to have a little bit of balance and stability with, totally fine. But if you can stand up with from that seated position, then awesome. Again, we're just gonna get a little nice little rock from side to side here to seeing how those hips are feeling and getting that full flexion in the ankles, the knees, as well as in that hip. Try to maintain posture and focus in on that breathing. Next, we're going to go into a nice little knee tap. All right, so squat to knee to the floor. We're going to get a total of 10, so 5 on each side as we rotate through. And again, take note, how does this feel on each side within the joints, from the feet, the ankle, to the knee, to the hips, to the back, and even in the shoulders and neck. Take notes on how this is feeling. And then we're going to go ahead and stand up. We're going to get a nice little standing hip shake from side to side. Again, do as many as you'd like here. After this, we're going to go into a little rotation, kind of like a little hula hoop. And we just want to get movement in the hips, again, creating space. But notice, we're starting all the way from those ankles into the knees, into the hips, into the spine, all right, even into the shoulders a little bit. And after we do these, we want to go one direction and then go, obviously, the opposite direction. But then we're going to get into a jog in place after we do this to, again, just really see how the body is feeling, all the way from the joints and the toes, the feet, into the ankles, the knees, the hips, now shoulders, elbows, wrists, and even the neck. We're going to get some shifts from side to side coming up next, but again, nice little jog in place, shaking out the hands. Again, just shake out the whole body with making our body be able to create that space that we're focusing in on. Let's get some rotations like I was talking about here. Just kind of do whatever feels good. All right, little dancing, whatever you want to do. But after this, we're gonna bring it to a stopping position, and we're gonna focus in on finishing this off with some nice intentional breaths. Again, we want to be able to take this opportunity of bringing positive space and breath and energy into the body and keep it moving forward throughout our day. So I like to bring my hands together like this and just focus in on about 5 intentional breaths, what I want to do with my day, maybe some affirmations about myself, just being grateful for my family and for my lemon tree and the air that I'm breathing, whatever you feel in your heart to be able to say. Thank you for joining me on this mobility session. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you're feeling great, and I hope you have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next one.